Hey man, stay man. It's your boy DUGG, man. Like TV. Back at y'all with another one. Rise and Grind Live Show, episode 3. Told y'all I was gonna keep them coming, so I'm still here. So real quick, man. I ain't gonna waste too much time, with the chit chat. I know other people be going live and they be waiting for people to come in and all that. Nobody in yet. But yeah, dog. Matter of fact. All right. So couple of videos we're gonna go through today that caught my attention. And actually I was gonna get into them yesterday, but like I said, I had some things I had to take care of. I started like hella late, but it's all about consistency, Oh, matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Switch logos on them real quick. Matter of fact, yeah, I had to redesign that Rise and Grind logo. Yeah, I can see that right there. Rise and Grind Live Show, baby. Like I said, I was doing this shit for the gram before. I would just go live on Instagram and everything. But now we live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So shout out to everybody. You know what I mean? Start pushing this, hopefully, build the community up and everything. Probably get some guests on here or whatever for y'all, like I was saying before. But yeah, we're gonna see where it goes. I kind of started in the middle of the week, you know what I mean? It's Friday, July 4th. Happy 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of 4th of July, I've been seeing a lot of people posting about, if you support the 4th of July, you celebrate the 4th of July, you're disrespecting the ancestors and all this, right? And what I point out is how, history, you can't decide what part of it you want to accept and what part you don't. Because if not, then you're going to be worse than the colonizers. If so, you're going to be worse than the colonizers who, people are always condemning for altering history in the textbooks and what they teach the kids in the school, right? If the Declaration of Independence doesn't get signed, then there would be no, if messed up as slavery was, there would be no Juneteenth, there would be no emancipation, there would be no Juneteenth to celebrate because the nation wouldn't have been formed in the first place. You get what I mean? So sometimes, when you try to take away one thing because it makes you uncomfortable, from an emotional standpoint, you might not realize like what you're sacrificing or whatever. Like it might be something that you love about your life or about, this country or the freedom that you have that's tied to the thing that you want to kind of eradicate from history. So just keep that in mind. It's like that old saying, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. You know what I mean? The Rise and Grind Live Show. I like it. But yeah, so We're gonna get into a couple video clips. This first one up is the Joe and Jada show, new podcast. You know, self-explanatory. Fat Joe and Jada. I didn't see that one coming. Like I knew they was cool. They was on the New York record together. You know what I mean? This kind of all uptown shit. The Bronx and Yonkers ain't that far. But yeah, so they got the show popping, and one of the clips I came across, didn't watch it yet, and just to kind of keep the spontaneity. I think I said that right, but I didn't even go and look at the complex list, you know, to like before I did this with y'all. But y'all know they've been going crazy with this list. It's a top 50, top 10, like, you know what I mean, whatever. So we're going to get into the top 10. They're going to go over it. And while they're reacting, I'm going to react to it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's get into it.
Complex got a top 10 hip-hop duos of all. They just coming out with all kind of
shit. We got it.
But I like this, though. I like this list, actually. MOP's
do you
on
like
there.
Who's at number one?
Yeah, I'm not mad with this list. Number one, they got...
No. Let's just go right. All right,
with these lists,
all right,
you got to just be happy to be on the list.
No. I want to hear the number one.
This is what they got. For one, it's Complex. So subscribers and followers and people at home, I'm reading Complex. They left me off all time of it of Complex.
Yo,
but listen, all right, listen. They got, this is their list. Number one, they got, this is top 10 hip-hop duos.
Hold up, I want to ask. All right, I want to ask one thing.
The people that understand.
Can we finally get the people who make the complex? Who makes these lists? Like, who are these people? Can we see who are the guys who make these all-time lists?
I don't think so.
Who the fuck are these people? Not just Complex.
I don't think you'll ever see them sitting here.
It's the beef I got. It's the beef I got. When I say we did this show, shout out to Q-Tip who understands how much we love hip-hop. But we did this show so that, you know, these guys are unqualified talking this shit. They ain't go to Dusseldorf 150 miles per hour and shit, eating fucking skiff. You know, them niggas, they not qualified for the shit. But Kiss, I gotta take my glasses
They're
off.
putting out
blood pressure
of the double F's and the T with the K's after is mean.
This shit crazy.
This is the top 10 hip-hop duos of all time.
Okay.
Number one, they got Outkast. Number two, they got Mobb Deep. Number three is Gangstar. Number four is UGK. Number five is Eric B. and Rakim. Number six is The Clips. Number seven is 8 Ball and MJG. Number 8 is EPMD. Number 9 is The Dog Pound. Number 10 is MOP. I don't necessarily agree with the order, maybe, but I'm not mad at none of those. Those are definitely the top 10 hip hop duos. If you find them,
I ain't gonna hold you. I agree with Jada. I may not agree with the order, but that ain't a bad list. That's probably one of the most accurate thing. I was gonna say Run DMC. Like, how the fuck Run DMC ain't on the list? But maybe they want to be technical and say, like, well, Jam Master Jay is a part of the group and shit. But it's rap duo. Like, they are a rap duo. So I don't understand how Run DMC ain't on that. You know what I mean? EPMD. I don't understand how EPMD ain't on there. But I can't be mad at that list, bro. Hold on, let's go over it again.
Shit, but Kiss, I gotta take my glasses
they're
off.
putting out
blood pressure
of the double F's and the T with the K's after is mean.
This shit crazy.
This is the top 10 hip hop duos of all time.
Okay.
Number one, they got Outkast. Number two, they got
All right. Oh shit.
Mobb Deep. Number 3 is Gangstar. Number 4 is UGK. Number 5 is Eric B. and Rakim. Number 6 is The Clips. Number 7 is 8 Ball and MJG. Number 8 is EPMD. Number 9 is
they
The
did have
Dog
EPMD
Pound.
on there.
Number 10 is MOP.
Yeah, but I still feel like Run DMC should be on there, bro. Like, even though Jam Master Jay was an instrumental part of that group or whatever, undeniable, right? But the rapper, the duo, even the name in itself or whatever, Run DMC, it's a rap duo. So I don't understand or whatever why, you know, they now for me on that list, my number one, it would be a toss-up between MOP and Mobb Deep. I think I'm gonna go with Mobb Deep. Damn, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go one Mobb Deep, and I'm gonna go number 2 MOP. I got to go back to whatever it keep. So I got number 1 Mobb Deep, number 2 MOP.
Eating fucking skiff. You know, them niggas, they not qualified for the shit. But go ahead, yo, Kiss, I gotta take my glasses
They're
off.
putting
My
out
blood pressure
of the double F's and the T with the K's after is mean.
This shit crazy.
This is the top 10 hip-hop duos of all time.
Okay.
Number 1, they got Outkast. Number 2, they got Mobb Deep. Number 3 is Gangstar. Number 4 is UGK. Number 5 is Eric B. and Rakim. Number 6 is The Clips. Number 7 is 8 Ball and MJG. Number 8 is EPMD. Number 9 is The Dog Pound. Number 10 is MOP.
Yeah, MOP being number 10 is nasty work, bro. Like, you gonna put MOP under The Clips? And I don't know. Like I said, Mobb Deep, MOP, UGK for my number 3 or whatever and shit. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Pimp and Bun hard, even though I'm a New York nigga. That might surprise niggas, but it's a lot of real niggas in the city that fuck with UGK. That riding dirty or whatever with the shit. And I put Gangstar for 4 or whatever and shit. They were dope, bringing that whole jazzy type, you know what I mean? Shit. Eric B. and Rakim is number 5. Wasn't my era and everything like that, but I definitely appreciate and respect like the type of rap I do and the mechanics of it. I don't think I would be rapping like that if niggas like Rakim didn't pave the way. You know what I mean? Or set the tone. Niggas like him and Big Daddy Kane and shit like that. Let me see. The Dog Pound will probably. I might make the Dog Pound my number 4. I definitely grew up on a lot more, like, you know what I'm saying, bumping that shit in the early 90s. Yeah, then I probably put EPMD as my number 6. 8 Ball and MJG would be my 7. And what was the other shit? Outkast, my 8. And then if I had to put the Clips on there, they would be my number 10. You know what I mean? Even though when the Clip came out with that record on Elektra called Got Caught Dealing, yo, I done tore that beat down so many times, bro. Like, For real, for real. Shout out my nigga Gene, man, and Troy and everything like that. You know, I used to go over to that nigga. In fact, the first time I rapped for that nigga before I started going to his crib, because his pops had the turntables and the DJ equipment. That was the beat that nigga heard me spit on and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I just got like cold with that shit. But I might find that beat or whatever and go and revisit it, like kind of do a freestyle of all the beats or whatever I did. But let's stay on subject though. But yeah, that would probably be how my top 10 list would go.
I don't necessarily agree with the order, maybe, but I'm not mad at none of those. Those are definitely the top 10 hip hop duos. If you find them, I ain't mad at none of them. I don't care about the way they.
I ain't mad at it either. I started to be first thing in the morning.
But Run DMC it wouldn't be no fucking list without Run DMC, so they don't have to be. That's what I said. They the top duo of all time.
They're a trio.
It is a trio because they're a trio because Jam Master Jay is technically a trio.
Gang Starr does not get the props they deserve. They made it now. And I got to commend Complex for that. Because too many lists, I don't see Guru on there. I don't see Gang Starr on there. They one of the greatest duos ever. Now we got it at the top. Mobb Deep.
But hold on. Now, Primo is a producer / DJ. So if they were being technical about the duos, then why? I don't know. Yeah, but then they counting the DJ. I can see it. Because it's the same thing with Eric B and Rakim. So, I mean, yeah, you could say, I guess I can see it. You know what I'm saying? I can see it. But still, I don't know. When I think about, but then that's like saying I don't think about Jay. I get it. I get it. They did a good job with the list and everything like that. Man. Because I'm trying to think, who would I put in place of the Clips? And I'm not trying to take nothing from the Clip, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Them niggas is dope. They do their thing. But I'm just trying to think of like somebody, you know, another duo. It'll come to me. You know what I mean? It'll come to me. But
Outkast, and I'm going to keep it a buck. I already had the beef with all my Dirty South guys first thing this morning when this list came out. They call me, look, by the way, my favorite second place besides Dubai on earth is called Atlanta, Georgia. Nobody loves it more than me. I love Atlanta. Nah, it's just, I feel so good there, man. I'm going to buy me one of them big-ass mansions in Atlanta for no reason one day. I'm telling you, I'm going to buy one of them big shits. For no reason, just to be like, yo, my crib, Atlanta, Georgia, right? Fucking love Atlanta, Georgia. I feel like I should have moved over there a long time ago. All right, cool. But they're immediately on my land.
Shout out to Atlanta. I lived out there twice. East side, west side, Gwinnett County. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to the A.
The Georgia and Miami guys come with this shit. They make you get into the bullshit. They start arguing Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep just New York. And the Outkast is for the whole world. It's global. It's international. But they different. When you start off agreeing with them, then by the middle of the shit, you start arguing with them because they make you argue with them. We don't want to argue with you. We know Outkast, trendsetters, started the game. Shout out to Goody Mob. But you know, Mobb Deep, I refuse for somebody to say they were just a New York group. You know, Mobb Deep is, you know, that's it right there. It's all a matter of, that's what I want to see, right? And I'm not disagreeing with this list. Can I see the people who made this list? So I could understand they definitely wasn't wearing Timbs.
They're like the jurors.
They weren't wearing Timbs.
You're never going to see the jury.
You're never
going to see them people that made that list.
Yo, how crazy is that? But my thing.
Nah, but not for nothing. These people should definitely, you know, put their face card out there. Like, who's really dictating it? Because you got people like, you have purists like me who understand politics and, you know, all of that, right? And so might be able to sit here and say, oh yeah, I know why they made that list, and you know what I mean, this parent company, and you know, they pushing this and pushing that right now. But it's really people out here who will take these lists to heart and argue tooth and nail with a person like me who grew up listening to hip hop from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the same way we kind of knew the people at the source who were in charge of the mic rating, because we knew, like, you know, it was kind of a staff thing or whatever the case may be. But we knew who was responsible for delivering this commentary. And they had either a resume for making music, or they had, you know, social equity within the hip hop community and shit. You know what I mean? Like, their opinion was respected. You know, they had a good ear. So, yeah, man, like, hey, all the people making these lists, man, show us who you is.
Thing is, all right, cool. A-Ball MGG, Trendsetters legendary.
Coming out
I like
hard.
the whole list.
Yeah, that's what I told you. The list is, I'm not mad at the list at all.
Now,
They
what
got
you
my
think
brothers
about the
Billy and
top
Fame
5?
on there.
Oh yeah,
They got Corrupt and Daz on there. You can't be
Corrupt and Daz. You cannot.
You know what I mean?
Play
They got
with them.
EPMD on there. They got Pusha and Malice on there.
There's a great list.
Eric B. and Rakim, Gangstar, UGK.
Eric B. and Rakim is
Mobb Deep and Outkast. That might be one of the best fucking lists Complex ever put together.
Commendable. No, the list is great. Now, Complex is crazy. Like, come on. Let's not.
You already Franked it. You can forget about it. You haven't made the list.
About them. I'm used to getting disrespected on every list. Best dress. Best. Yo, bro. These guys put dudes on these lists that they not close.
That shit's really bothering you. Whoever make the dress list, y'all better put fucking crack on there, man.
It's just their.
I ain't gonna hold you. I can understand Joe. Like, Joe be putting that shit on, like, especially for a big nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga be doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even see the Complex dress list. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring that shit up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I can understand that, because I can only imagine who they put on that list. I really want to, I actually want to see that shit. I'm interested now.
Team. It's just their team that makes up the list.
Let me see.
It's their team. It's the editorial staff.
We found. Hold on. You can bring. You found him the guy that made the list.
Look at this dude. This guy look like Bezos.
Yo, yes,
Bezos is crazy.
Fuck out of here. These are the guys.
It's a few of them. It's all a part of their own team.
Oh, this is horrible. This is like the guy who says hi to you at the Yankee game and you just keep walking past him. He go to give you dap and you don't even dap him. But he know? This is crazy. This is the most disrespectful shit in the world. You shouldn't have showed me him. I thought it was like some nerdy black dudes or some shit. Like, you know, I thought at least we had that working. These guys here, we want this guy to make the list. Listen, this is why you have a show like Joe and Jada. We really played the game until you go to a favela in Brazil. Favela means the projects. Them shits is all the city of God, one way in, one way out. They kill cops every weekend there. Until you go in there and a young kid about 14 asks to smoke a blunt with you and tells you to light it up while he has a rocket launcher in his hand. Don't talk to me about how you hip hop and you can make the list. You know, until you go and perform in that spot, they had a legendary spot in Brooklyn. Until you go in that spot and it's sold out and they got the fucking German shepherds sitting there and you asking them for your second half of your money for the show, how you're not going to perform if you don't get your bread, don't talk to me about no list. Like we done survived. We are battle scarred and tested in this shit.
Yeah, so I agree or whatever it is. I don't know if you got to go to a favela, you know what I'm saying, and smoke with a nigga with a rocket launcher. But, my nigga, you definitely got to know what it is to hear a freestyle on Clue, right? Or K Slay or Stretch Armstrong and Barbito or Stretch Armstrong when he was on Hot 97, XL Radio. I really gave up on XL Radio. You know what I'm saying? And then you hear a dope ass freestyle or whatever, and you gotta have that shit, you know what I mean, to play it when you wanted. If you didn't make the pause tape, like I was making the pause tapes. And you go to a mixtape spot the next day, you go to mad mixtape spots and you spend hours in the spot or whatever, like listening to different mixtapes or whatever, like with the freestyles and shit that just came out and trying to find that shit until you get it. Yeah, bro, like, you know what I mean? You're not really from the soil of this or whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I didn't get like that close of a look from the dude, you know what I mean, that made the complex list. But, you know, we're going to figure it out because I'm going to look at that best dress list or whatever. I'm real curious to see what they did with that. This next shit I seen on my timeline or whatever, it's kind of funny and shit because of the way the thumbnail looked. Hold on a second. So, yeah, dang. Let me see something. Watch this shit. So, 42 DUGG, right? Or DUGG. Detroit rapper. Y'all know him. So, this nigga, he got stopped by the police and they got the body cam footage and everything, right? Now, what I thought was funny was this. When you look at the nigga, because I think he sped past the police, you know, he liked to speed and gamble and all that shit, right? So the police or whatever, I guess, like see him speeding by or whatever and whatever he's in. We'll get into that in a minute because I haven't watched it yet. But the thumbnail is this. Hold on. Blow this up. This is how the thumbnail looks, right? So we all know this nigga's short. Shorter than two motherfuckers, right? So when I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, not only when the cop telling him pass the by, but I'm wondering if he thought the nigga was a little kid, right? So we're gonna get into this video and shit like that, something like, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna be funny because that nigga Doug is a funny nigga. You know what I mean? So let's get into it.
Adam, your status 11.
Shout out Rack Raris.
Come here.
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm Officer Mikowski, Detroit Police Department. That's my partner, Officer Bochnik over there. You know, I stopped you.
Well, I'll be out of town.
Okay. Well, you flew by me back there in a 25. You're probably going at least 40. And then your tags are back on the street that we turned off of to get on this street was 25. You flew by me back there. It's not a big deal. You got your The reason I'm stopping you is because your tags are expired. You got your license, your registration, and proof of insurance? Is this your truck? Yeah. It's a nice truck, man. Are you CPL holder?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
At least.
You got your insurance?
That's a big ass truck. Yo, if they make him get out of that motherfucker, I'm gonna die. I gotta see the whole thing when he get out.
What do you do for work?
I rap.
You rap? Okay. You got a bunch of money, a bunch of cash on you.
Yeah. Oh.
It might not be too smart though. Huh?
Now, what I think is crazy is, so you know, he tell the police or whatever who he is. I mean, he a legit rapper, nigga got hits, you know what I mean, all that shit. What's interesting is it's the Detroit Police Department or whatever that stopped him. And he tell a nigga whatever and shit, 42. Now I'm pretty sure that the police department knows or whatever that the 42 is, you know, if you look on the phone or whatever, it's 8B, Hustle Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I personally wouldn't have told them niggas that, you know what I mean? I would have left the 42 off my shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because now, what if them niggas start looking at it like, oh, like, yeah, you with them gang boys. And then decided they want to be overzealous or whatever and search the truck. And I might be, you know, riding around with cash and something to protect that cash. Like you heard him say, it might not be that smart for him to ride around with that bread on him, but you know, we'll see. Let's get into it. He playing it cool. It seemed like he might not have nothing going on. Seemed light spirit.
You got insurance on it? Okay. Just when you get it, just wave your phone out the window, and I'll come back. All right? You know him?
He said, you know him.
That truck would smoke us.
He said that truck is smoking. They did not want to get in no car chase with that nigga. They would have let him go. I think all police now, like, they're not supposed to engage in the car chase because, you know, like, risk of civilians being hurt and, you know, car accidents, all kind of crazy. So, yeah, like, you see that shit in the movie, you know, just for the movie.
Got a stack of cash on him.
$11.5 Adam, you said.
How long it taking that nigga to find his insurance? I don't think they get to the part where you find the insurance. Oh, hold on.
You got insurance on the computer? He's got it on his phone now. Or he's waving his phone.
Yeah, it's a
He does? Okay. Yeah, there's paper there. You read them for...
Expired. Ticket. It's crazy whenever that they don't know who bro is for real. Cause like we did that big ass joint. I want to say I forget what arena they got in Detroit. I want to say it's Little Caesars. I damn near watched the whole thing.
All right, man. Watch your speed, okay? Watch your ticket for expired plates. Take care of that, and we'll take care of you, all right? All right, man. Have a good day.
All right. That was uneventful. Nigga just too speedy. I thought he was gonna get out the car. I wanted to see like I was troublemaker. But while we on the subject of Detroit rappers, Babyface Ray, they got a video up here of him. They say a drug fueled, a drink fueled rant about how to spot snakes in your circle.
Good morning, all the bad. Good morning to my hustlers. I just want to let y'all know, without y'all, I wouldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? Especially to all haters. You know what I'm saying? That little fake smile and act like they would have, knowing knowing damn well I was seasoned in school and raised by a whole different breed. You know what I'm saying? So I know you fake ass niggas when I see them. But, you know, I go. I'm just staring at my chessboard, moving accordingly, minding my business, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be as healthy as I can be, taking care of my family, taking care of my business, going to the studio, still rapping, staying out of business, most importantly, you know what I'm saying? Staying out the face, you know what I'm saying? Staying out the drama. And I think everybody should take part in that type of, you know what I'm saying? If you can't control it, you know, if it's not hurting you, if it's not helping you, remove yourself from that. This year is the year of clarity. All the faking and phony relationships that didn't mean nothing. Now you got a relationship with a who feel like entitled, you know what I'm saying, anything that you got going on. And then the flip side to that, you got that's blessed and feel good about the opportunity that's being presented to them because they is around. And it's one thing that separates the two. 9 times out of 10, the that feel entitled, that's just who around who think that they deserve something. You know what I'm saying? Free, not knowing it worked so many years for this. Got put around certain, and I made the best of that, and I became who I am today. You know, so I'm just telling you, if you around anybody, rapper, I don't give a who it is, and they got motion and they successfully doing something, do not feel entitled, bro. That's how you gonna get boxed out. And then when you get boxed out, you're gonna be lonely thinking about all the times where it wasn't really that bad. Like it really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like so get ahead now, my niggas, you know what I'm saying? Pay a fucking attention at all times because niggas be faking and phony and on the come up. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my way to motherfucking Miami to have some fun, kick back, release some stress, record, vlog a little bit. But I just had to hit y'all with some words of wisdom. I ain't sent y'all to really.
Well, I don't know, you know, that nigga is high or, you know, drunk or whatever. But I will say this, the way they kind of made it seem like it wasn't what I expected. And a nigga had a good point, you know. I think a big problem with society now, whatever, is a false people with a false sense of entitlement. You know, y'all can see what I'm doing. But yeah, I never really been that type of like nigga and shit because honestly, I never put myself in a position to be like, especially with the music in my immediate circle or whatever. I've always kind of, you know what I mean, done the most or at least been the most like industrious with it. You know what I mean? Like not really so much looking for somebody to hand me an opportunity, but more so create one for myself. You know what I'm saying? Um, sometimes, you know, like it's always more fun or whatever if, you know, you and your people can eat together. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool little thing, whatever. I always think about that Jay-Z line where on Feeling It, where he said, if every nigga in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged. Nobody will fall because everyone will be each other's crutches. But, you know, you're only as strong as, you know, it's like if your crew is strong, then more than likely, you know, you're gonna be strong out here too. But you can't really control how people feel. The only thing you could do is really just pay attention, man. You know, that jealousy come from far away, but that envy be the closest to you. You know what I mean? Because they really see it. you know, and they don't just admire, like the people from afar, they'll just be jealous of what you have. The people closer to you are envious of the person that you are that allowed you, you know what I mean, to get in the position that you're in, that they may feel like they deserve, or, excuse me, or they feel like they could do better with your bag than you can. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that with Ray. Yeah, I don't know, they just kind of made it seem like it wasn't even really a rant, like, but you know, clickbait. I fell for it. Let's see what we got. So yesterday, and it's kind of interesting because the new episode of BMF is available. If you have the Stars app, you can watch it now, and you ain't got to wait till 9 o'clock tonight. I told y'all yesterday the whole thing with Blue, and how I felt like, you know, their character, or how they basically spun the whole character of the artist chick Purdy, and I felt like that was Blue DaVinci and all that, right? So the last night as I was watching it, I guess it's spoiler alert, but the chick, the Purdy chick that's supposed to be, you know, we're gonna call her Purdy Blue. So Purdy Blue goes, you know, they try to tie her up on a contract, the record don't get played, etc., right? And so Meech and them go over there on some Suge Knight shit, you know what I mean, and press you know, press the trail dude who was what's his name? Purdy Blue's original label owner or CEO. And he's threatening the nigga, he signed the contract and everything like that. And they had the release for her at Platinum Palace, which I guess is supposed to be a spinoff of Magic City, who knows. But so the Purdy girl had her release party, her single release party or whatever at the Platinum Palace joint. And while she's performing, she gets shot. Right? Now, it looked like it's supposed to be pretty bad, but you know, for dramatics, they always make it seem like the person gonna die. You know what I mean? When they do the shit. So I don't know if the whole thing was just to get the whole stomping ground records and the whole artist thing out the way, like that narrative of it, or that part of the story. They just like killed the nigga off or whatever, and he don't got a thing. Because I'm more than convinced that that was supposed to be a depiction of Blue DaVinci. You know what I mean? A dramatization or whatever. They think he's a bitch with a drug problem. Yesterday, we were listening to Blue, you know, spin his tale about, you know, Meech telling and Tammy and, you know, all of this stuff, right? So I guess the algorithm saw fit that they sent me another clip of Blue talking about Meech's time cut and how he figured out that Meech was telling in the whole third-party cooperation, you know, led to the time cut. Right? Now, we're gonna get into this, and then I'm gonna break this down for y'all.
How did you find out she was an informant?
How I found out, Cuffy daughter, Tamara, hit me on Instagram and was like, Uncle Meech a rat. And that's how it all started. And I was like, whoa, you can't say that. I'm like, you got to have some paperwork to be supporting shit like that. And then she just, you know, went on to start to like, all right, I'm going to send you some stuff. And then she sent it, start sending it. And that was it. Damn, I done lost the blunt anyway. Oh, no, I did. And that's how it started, bro. And then one time she called me back probably a few months later. No, this is how the day I found out. She called me and was like, she called my phone and was like, do you know somebody named Tammy Cowens? And I was like, so that fucked me up when she just said the name. I'm like, yeah. Why you say that? She like, oh, because that's the informant on my case. I'm like, what? She was like, yep, somebody named Tammy Cowens. And then boom. From there, that Tammy. That's the first time that I heard that Tammy was an informant, but I still didn't have the paperwork on it. I didn't see where they put.
So here's the thing, right? In 2012, you allegedly letting Tammy and Cuffy use the blue Bentley, and they're running around trying to shop around for a movie deal or whatever deal they're trying to get for the BMF project. So you shouldn't be that surprised that Cuffy's daughter knew Tammy, because her daddy at this point in 2014 had been running around with her for damn near 3 years, supposedly. You know, trying to shop around for a deal, doing other little deals according to the feds and shit, allegedly. So, yeah, like the timeline with this nigga just never adds up. Like, you know what I mean? And if I probably go through all these interviews and listen to him explain this shit or whatever, like, it'll really become crystal clear, you know.
Tammy on the stand, and I could see that she was an informant until that motion came out, that 35-page motion came out that summarizes everything that happened. That's when I first saw it from my. No, it ain't. No, I saw it on the. I'm lying. I seen it in 2014. The first time when she sent me the first paperwork, it's in there. Yeah, the first paperwork in 2014 I got, it's in there, but it just was looking like Tammy set Meech up. So then we ain't know shit. Like, we ain't know what's going on. And then Meech was in the hole. Wasn't nobody talking to him. He was in the hole forever. Like, so couldn't.
Yeah, if he wasn't in the hole, he was on that diesel therapy because they was bouncing him around from spot to spot. You know what I mean? So, and the only person that he was talking to, I think, was his lawyers naturally or whatever, and his moms, you know what I mean, his kids and whatnot. So, you know, but 2014 would be around the time that would make sense that he found out, because of the fact that that was when I believe Cuffy got snatched, if I remember correctly from the video I did. Yeah, let's keep going.
Nobody talked to him for so long. Then I started talking to him again, and by that time, fucking wasn't even really talking about that shit no more, because he didn't get arrested, and he was on the indictment. So he, at the beginning, Meech was on the indictment, bro. He was a part of it. Like the first paperwork, he was a part of it. He was named a co-conspirator, but like,
I believe he was named the unindicted co-conspirator. Like, basically, he had knowledge of like a deal or that these people were connected, but I don't think they actually had him implicated in the actual play. Because what I do remember from when I did the video, Suarez reached out to Tammy while she was with Keith Comer, is the Asian's name. She was with this nigga on their routine Sunday dinner, so she done got into a whole routine with the Fed nigga. You feel me? And this dude hit her up or whatever while she's with the agent. And now I always said the Fidel Suarez nigga was a red flag to me, because how you get caught with 99 bricks and walk? That don't even sound right, bro. You know what I'm saying? And no universe. You know what I mean? Like, do that shit sound right? But yeah. So, you know, that kind of makes sense to 2014 shit. And then that was when I believe they had the French hearing that produced the 35-page court transcript. But yeah, so
he didn't get arrested, and then so much time had passed. I don't know, bro. I just probably just went on with my life and wasn't even thinking about that shit. I'm telling y'all, I don't be giving too much thought after a while, bro, about other people's shit. Like, for real, because especially it was looking like she was trying to set him up. It wasn't showing like he did it. So we was all like, bro, that bitch. In the circle, we like, bro, that bitch. And then
nigga, yo bitch, cause you bought that bitch around. Word.
And Cuff was just like, bro, he wouldn't write a letter or come to court or something and say something on Cuff's behalf, or some court say he can't do it or some shit. I'm like, well, I don't understand none of that shit. And then that paperwork hit, and it told a whole story, bro, and it plugged so many gaps in, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I followed that from what I knew, from what they just kept releasing. And then all the way at the end, bro, like once they released Big Dog, they had to redo his pre-sentence report because they changed his time. Okay. So when you first go to prison, they do a pre-sentence investigation, and then you get a report. So that's what people be going to the yard with. Boom, look, this is my work. This is my paperwork. Well, it show you. If you got down, it show you what you did. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to hit the yard with that clean PSR. Now, that PSR that dude had was clean for a long time while he was in prison until, I guess, a few years, until whenever it wasn't no more. A lot of years, for real, the PSR was clean because it wasn't nothing to change it. Now, it showed up on there, the downward departure 5K1. It showed up on the PSR, and the only way that you could see it is because they redid the PSR when they did let him out, because they gave him time off. So they had to redo his sentence that they had already.
Now, stop it right there. Meech did get a time cut, right? But it wasn't due to no 5K1 departure. We're going to get into that in a minute. Pay attention. You know what I mean? Because that's not the reason why he got the time cut. And this is where whatever he slipped up.
You know what I'm saying?
They always do.
Did in the report. It was already done. So to redo it, they got to go show what he got, that CARES Act or whatever it is that actually got him out. And then it showed, yes, he got it at the computation at the end. And then it showed how much time it take the 360 to life off and do this and do that. And then they end up kicking him out. But then by them redoing it, they're giving you a new copy of it. And on the new copy, it got the 5K1 sitting up there, but the computation got a no at the end because he wasn't awarded it. So it say no on the 5K1 attempt because all I guess the Tammy, the agents, and all the shit. So they didn't get cuffed on that case. So then nobody get convicted from that case. So he didn't get awarded the 5K1. But he still got awarded later on, some years later, the CARES Act, I believe it is, or whatever it is. If I'm wrong, don't quote me. But yeah, it is what it is, bro. Like, it don't even matter.
Nah, so look. This is where Blue got it fucked up. So Steve Fishman, right? Prominent Detroit criminal defense attorney, represented a lot of the big wigs, Frank Nitty Ushers, the dude Chester, you know, like y'all can go and check or whatever. He's done a lot of joints with Al Prophet, American Dope, you know, a lot of the Motown Mafia series or whatever. You know, he was a big interviewer that he represented some of the Best Friends, Maserati Rig, Demetrius Holloway, you know, all of these guys. So now he talks about how his relationship with Terry Flannery, Southwest T, and how he got Southwest T or how Meek got the same time cut as T. Check this out.
Well, back to you did represent Southwest T.
I represented Terry Flannery.
Okay.
I met him before he was charged, and somebody introduced me to him, and we got to be friendly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he wanted, he didn't have a case.
Yeah.
Somebody just thought it was a good idea for him to meet me, and we sat in the car actually, and shot the shit for 20 minutes, and then we became friendly. And then, of course, the indictment came, and when the indictment came, T had never had a case before in his life. He had never spent an evening even in jail. When the indictment came, both of them were on the indictment, even though Demetrius was in Atlanta, and there was no bond. In federal court, you either have a bond or you have no bond. It's not like in state court, 10,000, 10% or anything like that. And this time on, we weren't seeing eye to eye on the case, so I told T I was going to get off the case because I had some ideas of what he should do.
Okay.
And he was listening to some people inside maybe or whatever. So I got off the case. The long and short of it was they both eventually pled guilty, and they were sentenced to 360 months each, which is 30 years by my Mumford High School arithmetic. And then, and I didn't participate in that. I was done with the case by then. I certainly think we could have done better if I'd have stayed on the case.
Wow. Then 360 months.
360 months was a lot. Well, because you got to remember, because of the BMF thing. See, I never even heard about that.
Yeah.
Terry he never talked like that. He was just another guy I knew that was involved, obviously, in something, because that's why he wanted to meet me. But he wasn't boasting and putting billboards up and all that kind of crap. So when it came out, I was kind of learning the same as everybody else was.
So he didn't really discuss the black mafia family.
I never heard the phrase black mafia family ever. It wasn't like Pony Down or YBI. I never heard that phrase. He was just Terry Flannery. He was just a guy from Southwest. The one part of the city I never was around was Southwest Detroit, and I was fascinated just by where the streets were. To tell you the truth. So and he was a regular guy. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's just a regular guy, and whether he was involved, I assumed he was involved in something, because why else would he want to meet me? But there was no BMF and all this kind of crap. So he gets the time, and I read it in the newspaper or somebody told me about it, and then this was back in the mid 2000s, maybe something like that. I think when it happened, and then he contacted me. I remember he did or somebody on his behalf. And it was in 2017. What happened was, and this is important for your audience to understand, this had nothing to do with anybody talking or snitching or doing anything at all other than doing their time. The law changed, and they had a new section of the law that changed the way the guidelines were computed.
Who changed this law here?
The government changed it. This had nothing to do with anybody in the streets or anybody talking. The law changed, and Terry contacted me. I can't remember if he himself or somebody contacted me, and he didn't have 10 cents. It wasn't like he came and said, "Oh, I've got 30,000 for you if you can do this." But I always liked the guy. He was just a good guy.
Wow.
Can I help him? I said, I think I can help you. So I looked it up, and looking up, he got 360 months because of the way the sentencing guidelines were before the law changed. And when the law changed, the guidelines would have been reduced to 292 months. That's a 68-month reduction because of the change in the law. I contacted the prosecutor on the case, and I told her that Terry had contacted me, and I think the law is pretty clear, and she agreed. And that was on like the third day, and we submitted something to Judge Cohn, who was still the judge back in those days, and he signed the sentencing reduction, and it's in the file. If anybody, all these people think they can go look at federal files, you can see the order back in 2017 reducing T's sentence from 360 to 292. So he got 68 months over almost 6 years off his back. And then when the pandemic came, he contacted me. I think he contacted me to say they had let him out because his health was bad.
And you do this all as a courtesy because you like the guy.
Yeah. I've never charged him 50 cents for anything since then. So at the same time, his brother, I think, was hoping to get the same reduction.
Now, did Demetrius, did he take advantage of the new change in the law?
I'm going to tell you about it, but it didn't. Not in 2017.
Okay.
Somebody contacted me who said they were with him, and would I be willing to do it for him? And I said, well, I don't really know him, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew who I was dealing with. The only thing I knew about MEECH was, of course, all that BMF crap down south, which really brought the feds all over everybody. Wow. And I kind of was, well, I don't know him. It'd be kind of odd, and I didn't want to take any money from him. So I said no. And then for some,
so Steve Fishman, like, know more than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm willing to bet that, you know what I mean, and admit that. But I remember, because of even how I found out about who Steve was through the Al Prophet joint, right? And from my understanding, and even based on like the book or whatever that was published, the wiretap, like they had hours, I mean hundreds of hours of wiretap conversation on T. They never had Meech on the phone discussing anything illegal. Like the billboard said BMF Entertainment. You know what I mean? As they said in one documentary, it's not like they put like 1-800 buy cocaine. You know what I mean? They were actually trying to push a label. Whether I feel like Blue DaVinci was worth, the whole thing. I mean, and then they were kind of associated with, even though their label wasn't on any of Jeezy's promo that I remember, but he was definitely affiliated, and his joint with like the soundtrack for all the parties outside of what they had to tolerate from Blue, because Blue was never like a great artist and whatever and shit. I was talking to Baby Truth, and I said that Work record was probably the best shit that he had. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but I always felt like, they didn't even have anything implicating Meech on the phone or anything discussing anything illegal, tying him to the whole drug business or whatever, until T had somebody, I want to say named Texas Cuz, who got on the phone and basically impersonated Meech when the Jabari Hayes nigga got bad. And Jabari Hayes is an interesting character because Jabari supposedly comes out of the Gowanus, you know what I'm saying, over there on the Hoyt side, on Baltic. And, my nigga schooled from out there or whatever and shit. I spent some time out that way. That's like downtown Brooklyn or whatever. Like, you get on Bond Street or Hoyt Street and shoot straight down past, like, Livingston, State Street, all that, Dean. You know what I mean? You're going to cross all of that or whatever, and, you're going to hit Gowanus or whatever. That's where Rod Diggs is from, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but this, but yeah, so like that was the only time or whatever that they had Meech, kind of tied in on the phone conversation or anything like that, and then they didn't really have him pegged all the way to the plug or no real evidence until O-Dog got bagged. And then they was like, he told them I get the work from Dude, and they was like, who's Dude? And he said, Dude is Meech. And then they asked him something about, giving an official statement or whatever. And he's like, these people know my family or some crazy shit. So, that. But now we see that while all this attention is on Meech, T got the same time cut that Meech got damn near 4 years earlier. So Meech was just late getting his, you know what I mean? Now, the law changed or whatever in 2017, so meaning that he never received no thing. I never saw any paperwork or whatever with no 5K1. I saw the French hearing and the other one that was like 200 and something pages, but I don't know about the 5K1. I'll go back on Pacer or whatever or see if I can find the paperwork, on that. But yeah, that song, let me see what else is.
For some reason, instead of getting somebody else, I went and looked it up knowing I was going to be talking with you. I don't think they signed I don't think he got his sentence reduced for like another 3 or 4 or 5 years, even though the law was in place in 2017. But in any event, that's something that people should know because of all this talk back and forth. That is he a snitch? He's not any goddamn snitch. Wow. The law changed and his sentence went from 360 to 292 as well. And then, from what I understand, he was sent to the halfway house, which, you know, people have to understand, again, we're listening to this. When you get a federal sentence, unlike a state court sentence in Michigan, you get a state court sentence, no good time, no halfway house, no nothing. If you get 2 years, you do 2 years, 24 months to the day, okay? That's not the feds. People need to understand that. In the feds, you get 54 days a year good time, which is pretty much 2 months, okay? You can also go to the halfway house within 6 months of whatever your release date is. So when you get a long sentence like he had, 360 months, you're talking about 30 years times 2 months a year of good time. That's 5 years. That's 60 months off of it to begin with. Right. So now it's 292, and now it's 5 years off of that. Now it's 232, and he did all that time.
And that's what everybody's saying, that there's a 5-year window that hasn't been served. That's the whole chapter. Like
a 5-year window? What do you mean window?
When I say window, I mean like he has 5 more years to do that he's not doing.
He first thing, are they all geniuses? They understand the federal system?
That's why I can't review.
No, I'm saying these people who are talking.
Oh, these are YouTubers, Steve. These guys just flip-flop. They got their own microphone.
So what I'm telling you is before they start talking, maybe they should talk to somebody who knows something about the federal criminal justice system so they don't say stupid things on YouTube or wherever it is that these young kids are at. Wow. But they're not such young kids, obviously. If they're talking about him. The long and the short of it is everybody, there's nowadays, a lot of guys are coming home earlier, having nothing to do with snitching or telling on anybody, just because the system has now been set up that they're trying to get people through the system quick.
That's crazy. This is the story about Jabari or whatever. I'm glad, but we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, man. So that was my video lineup for y'all today. And yeah, like I said, all this stuff about MEECH'S or whatever, and based on the research that I did about third-party cooperation, there will be some paper trail of, you know, paperwork. You know, there would be some paper trail or whatever, like where they signed off on it, because MEECH'S would have to sign off on that as well. It's like nobody could just go and say, I'm gonna do this for this person and all that shit or whatever, because not just on the government's end, but as a defendant, you don't want to sit here and make a deal without some type of contract. Like it is a contract or whatever. That's why even if you take a plea where you didn't snitch on nobody, you just telling them what you did and taking your time, you got to sign off on that. It's a plea agreement. You know what I mean? These are lawyers. There's no way that they're going to go into any type of agreement or deal, you get what I'm saying, without some type of paperwork to track that back. So, yeah, man, you know, but again, niggas be doing this for content, you know what I mean? Like, they don't really have any interest in, like, the truth and, you know, what's real. It just, they can keep booking interviews and all that and, you know, get a bag. I mean, like we watched Loose Cannon build a whole career on YouTube and social media, you know what I mean? Like getting whatever money he got off of stealing a nigga name, lying about, you know, his accolades in the music business and, you know, all this other shit and who knows what else, you know? So, yeah, and then we've seen like the whack 100s or whatever sit here and let these niggas push a false narrative until they can't push it no more. And then he'd be the very one doing the whole exposure episode on them. You know, so it's just crazy, man. But yeah, that's today's Rise and Grind live show, episode 3. hit that like and subscribe button. This will be uploaded to the channel. Y'all can go through it or whatever. Like I said, I got a lot of editing and shit, a lot of stuff to go back and chop up, in the short form and all that. I understand everybody got, got things to do. Life be lifing. Attention span might not be for a whole, hour and some change. You get what I mean? So I'm gonna make it easy for y'all. I got you covered. But yeah, man, that's today's show. Hit that like and subscribe button, smash that notification bell if you're really mobbing with the content. And as always, stay dangerous so you can be safe. And happy 4th of July. It's your boy Daylight TV. I'm out.